Kieran Read has retired as a professional rugby player after what you could only say was a pretty bloody successful career. We'll go through some of his achievements in this video, look back at some memories, and yeah, you guys can let me know some of your favourite Kieran Read moments, what was good, what was maybe not so good, and yeah, we obviously wish him all the best in the future. He's looking forward to spending some time with his family, no doubt. He's played for a few teams in his career. He's played for Canterbury in the now Bunnings NPC, the National Provincial Championship here in New Zealand. Didn't get a heck of a lot of caps for Canterbury because essentially once you're a Super Rugby player and an All Black, you don't really get a chance to play that level competition anymore. Happily though, he did, because he's from Papakura, which is kind of south of Auckland here in New Zealand. He did get to finish off that level of his career with Counties Monaco, which is his local team. So that's kind of one little benefit of COVID, if you can look at it that way, because he was off in Japan with Toyota, and COVID cancelled the top league season, so he came back to New Zealand and played for his local team to finish off his New Zealand career kind of nicely. So that's kind of one little tidbit about his career. If you're outside New Zealand, you maybe didn't know, a lot of All Blacks like to come back when they're done and maybe play a bit of that level competition before they really hang up the boots. So nice for him to do that. Obviously, he has finished off his career over in Japan. His team, I think, went out in the semi-finals in the top league, so he's not going out as a winner. Unfortunately, in the top league, you don't always get to do that. So I think he goes out in the semi-finals of that competition. The lion's share of his career is spent playing for two teams. That's the Crusaders, where he plays 156 games, which is not, I don't think it's quite top 10 in terms of Super Rugby appearances, but it's well up there. One of the most capped Super Rugby players, and he gets 4 titles during that time. He's not always captain. He is captain for part of the time. He wins in 2008, and then a long break until he gets 3 in a row, 2017, 18, and 19. So he wins those final 3 years of regular Super Rugby as we know it. Australian, South African, and New Zealand teams, plus some Wolves and Hawaris. So gets wins over the Lions, the Hawaris in those finals. So yeah, he gets his fair share of Super Rugby success with the Crusaders. With the All Blacks, again, it's a career really littered with success. He plays 127 times for the All Blacks, which is more than most people get to do. You don't get to be the third most capped All Black without being a bloody good player, and he gets the award, the individual award in 2013, World Player of the Year. That year he was just absolutely on fire. He just had such ball handling skills, it was almost like cheating. Sometimes he would go down the wing, be tackled, and get some stupid offload that he had no rights to do. He was just absolutely phenomenal that year, and probably a well-deserved winner. Interestingly, he only got nominated for World Player of the Year the one time, and the one time he got nominated, he won it. So, yeah, he was very good. He's beat off a lot of challenges. In that number 8 berth, we've had a fair few good Lucies here in New Zealand, but, to get 127 caps shows the class of the man. He has big shoes to fill. I mean, he wins 2 World Cups with Richie McCaw as captain, 2011 and 2015. He's obviously one of the key kind of leaders in that group as well. But he has big shoes to fill when Richie calls it quits after the 2015 World Cup. Kieran Read takes over as captain. He captains the side 52 times. So, again, not many guys get to captain the All Blacks. Not many guys get to play for the All Blacks 50 times, let alone captain them 50 times. So, yeah, it's a hard one because he's kind of always in the shadow of Richie McCaw. Like, if you compare him, it's not fair because Kieran Read doesn't win the 2019 World Cup, but McCaw wins the previous 2. McCaw's winning rate's like 89.1%. He's at 84.6%. But don't let that kind of fool you. He's still an incredibly successful player. I think he loses 7 times as captain. Across his career, he loses 7 times to Australia. That's the most losses he has to any one team. But obviously we play the Australians the most, so it kind of makes sense. South Africa, 6 losses. England, Ireland, 2. France, 1. And the Lions, 1, with the draws to the Lions, South Africa, and 2 to Australia as well. I guess maybe one thing that'll burn a little bit is he's the captain when the All Blacks lose to Ireland for the first time. But I feel like they were pretty good about it. They acknowledged the performance of Ireland that day because Ireland were just on fire, and I lost money on that game for sure. I was doing live betting. I was sure the All Blacks were going to come back as they've done so many times, but not to be. But yeah, maybe the fact that they drew with the Lions in 2017 will be a bit of a regret. Maybe the loss to Ireland for the first time. The 2019 Rugby World Cup, he still goes out as a third place medalist in that one. But honestly, man, when you've got 2 Rugby World Cups in the bag, 4 Super Rugby trophies, 7 Tri-Nations or Rugby Championship trophies, like there's not many people who get a career quite as extensive as Kieran Read. So, yeah, as I said, he's a wee bit in the shadow of Richie McCaw in the scheme of things, but I think his successor, Sam Cane, is equally finding that Kieran Read casts a pretty long shadow himself, because it's certainly not an easy gig. But yeah, team success, individual success, great player. It'll be interesting to see if he kind of stays in the game, if he becomes a pundit, if he does any coaching. He's certainly got that aura about him to be a pretty good coach or some kind of spokesperson for the game. He's certainly done a fair bit of media in his time. So, yeah, as I said, wish him all the best. Great career, better than 99% of people will probably ever have. And yeah, time for him to have a wee break with the family. But hopefully it's not the last we see of him in some kind of rugby context. But yeah, as I said, you guys let me know your thoughts. Kieran Read's kind of great moments. As I said, in 2013 he was just virtually unplayable, but quite the man, quite the player. And yeah, I'll call it quits there, guys. You guys take care. Let me know your thoughts on the big man, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.